Hey.
Greetings, SGFO212 here, and today I have a couple of buddies here. We have Brandon, as per usual,
Hello.
and we actually have a friend of mine by the name of RadicalEdward2 here.
Hi.
Now, Radical Edward, for those of you that do not know, is the up and coming map. What would you call yourself? A map aficionado, someone who enjoys making and improving on the maps in H&G. I'll leave links to his threads, and he's done a great job at it as well. He's made a bunch of threads about it, of which I will leave in links below. So today we got together because for a long time I'd been talking with Edward about uh, a skirmish that would actually be useful as a skirmish per se. And we were talking about it. So we're here in the wonderfulness known as the Google
Google
drawings,
Drawings.
yeah, and we'll be able to go on from there. So off we go. So in all our talks about this Mr. Anonymous axolotl, uh, we said we always wanted to talk about, say, one spawn being here, and then the other spawn being up there, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And that the three capture points we're going to run uh, as that O1, that O3, and that is O2. Does
Okay.
that sound about right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's up to you to kind of talk about it. You know, what were
Okay.
we hoping to
So,
make with this?
well, you said that on the one that's in the middle, that was gonna be like a bunker, right? Or
I'd
did
like
you say
it
it
to
was like a
be,
artillery
yeah,
battery?
like an artillery battery. Using the old tents from the old hill skirmish or something. I think that would be pretty nice with a trench line around it. So, zooming in onto the middle bunker, it'd be let's see, probably something like tent over here.
You want me to try drawing it?
If you don't mind, please. You're the professional artist here.
Okay. How do I erase on this? Because that I have no clue.
We're still working on this. Uh,
Maybe we should have figured out all of the controls before starting.
nah, we're
Yeah.
fine. Just use the mouse, select it.
Okay. Don't worry. I'll figure out how to make this into a masterpiece.
All right. So I'd like to
I
start with like the tent right there or something.
um I hope Edward is using a pencil.
He's
Oh
using a
yeah, I
pencil.
am. It's just the thing is because I'm using like an actual drawing pad for this, and it's not like I actually have to press a button on the pen that I normally don't have to in order to do this.
Okay.
So it's kind of delayed because I have to press it every single time. And I also have to keep track of where the button is.
Do you want these little things?
Now,
Right. I'll go about deleting them and whatnot. So I was hoping for that. You know, your typical little tent thing.
yeah, I'm bear with me because we're working through like a Google Doc, I guess.
Something like that, yeah. A Google
So this
Drawings.
But
is the trench and then sandbags in front of it.
Yes.
well, for some reason I had this idea of what if the entire tent was like dug into a giant trench.
Hmm. That could work per se.
Like I don't I don't know if this would be the right word to use it, but like almost like a generic movie style one where there's like the tent in the trench with everything else on the hill.
Hmm.
That looked a bit odd, don't you think?
I mean, I was kind of hoping that, like the AA guns, which would be, so what I was hoping for the middle point is that it would be on top of a hill.
Just one moment.
Yeah, so it would be on top of a hill or anything, with the sandbags going around everything. But then here would be like a line of AA guns, or just AA guns that you couldn't even get into per se, or the big flak 88s if they have them modeled or not. But what I was thinking about is
Okay, I'm back.
having this entire skirmish named Battery. Uh, Edward, since you missed it, these three circles here were going to be the battery of AA guns and whatnot.
Okay.
So you
And
said
I'm
you wanted,
assuming
yeah,
this lineup on the top is supposed to be the hill,
yeah.
or
That's kind of the hill, just to show everyone that it is a hill.
oh, okay.
But I was hoping that that could be, like the layout. You'd have your old tent from right here with the sandbags around it. You'd have your, oh, not that. Come here, scribble tool.
Oh, I think I know what's going on. I think there could only be one person drawing at a time. Otherwise, it just won't detect the other people stuff.
The fuck is that meant to be?
The radio. Give me a second.
Ah, the radio. Okay.
Do you want me to just try to draw it?
I mean, it looks like a 50s television set.
It's kind of what it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a 50s television set.
Yep.
But that would be the radio beside the tent. And, you could get, I think there are some big, like, artillery shell casings around here somewhere that you could
let
pull
me
from
find
the
a
factory
picture.
map, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'll find a picture.
But I was wanting that, and then for the big artillery guns to either be right about there, where I think, yeah, I can't tell who is who. Yeah, that's you, Edward. For to either be right there or like over here or something, but enough so that they would be noticeable, and you would actually see that that is the gun emplacements per se.
Okay, let me transfer an image of a flak gun into it.
Yes.
Oh, I'm just struggling to try to draw one with this
Listen,
browser,
Oh,
but it's getting there.
okay. Well, how do I move
Oh,
this?
there goes
No,
that
no,
drawing.
it's under it. Okay.
Now you just have to chroma key it. Wow.
So it's type of artillery guns like that, but would
Okay.
be sticking out of say one side.
And the advantage of these artillery guns is that they have a frontal shield that provides some sort of like passive protection, even if they are unusable.
Yeah, and even if you had to put two of these things on here, that's what I would like to see, per se. I'd really like whoever Dragon is, what's doing, because I like the idea of having like a little outcropping, with the idea of sandbags around it for this little artillery gun that sticks out beyond the rest. Like a half circle of sandbags.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get a hang of this,
Hmm.
but I'm trying to draw the walls of the trench. But you get the idea.
Yeah, yeah. So this entire thing is sunken in. And then this artillery gun here would be kind of sunken in as well.
Okay.
So is that something that you would like to see, Edward?
Oh yeah.
So
I
the
could probably
approach,
figure out how to. What I'm thinking is if there was more room on the on the what's it called? The actual image, that I would be able to work onto the actual area surrounding the hill, but
yeah, this is just a crude mock-up of the thing up top. This is to
yeah.
give all of us ideas and whatnot. But you know what I mean when I say the old hill skirmish tent,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, the one with all the logs and stuff
Hmm.
around it,
And you could
and
place,
the rock.
yeah, you could place the logs and stuff over here per se, and whatnot. You know, just around the point and whatnot. Uh,
What I would think is that they could probably, if they even still had it, or if they even, they being the devs, if they felt like taking the time of actually digging up the old version of the map, that could probably just be used as a template and then just built off of it
yeah, but it'd be a different
instead
layout
of like with that
entirely.
weird manor thing like they have now.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see. I mean, they'd have to add the AA guns and whatnot, in a little separate AA pit over here, off into the bottom left. But I would like to see that. That would be the middle point.
Also, is there a way to zoom out of this, or is this like
It's only
the
zoom
whole
in.
image?
Yeah, this was just to show it. But
Oh,
what I
because I
can,
remember you drew like the capture points and then you zoomed in and then there was none.
oh no, I just selected all and then deleted it.
Oh, okay. I thought you actually, it's like, oh, camera work, and then zoom in, and we're at the spot,
No, no,
like
no. This is just like
Mr.
a.
Rogers or something. But yeah.
But what the
But
fuck happened there?
I deleted it. We were done fleshing it out.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah.
But
The
anyway,
updates out, we had to scrap the whole map. Or is it too
that's
soon?
this middle cap point here. So then we would go on with and then this entire thing would be a hill per se, spending that, and then at either base of the hill, there
So
would be
with
the
this hill,
spawns.
where would the deploy zones be in relation to?
I'd like for them to be at the base. I know that this is a kind of shoddy way to show
Okay.
the hill.
Wait, I think I might have an idea. Try first erase it, and then I might try seeing if I could just draw a quick version of it with the hill and stuff.
All right,
Okay.
go for it.
So those other ones were like behind the hill.
The spawns were at either end of the hill.
No, no, I mean the capture points.
Yes, per se.
So there was one on the top, and then there was like two on either side, and then I guess
Yes, this
like these
was
would be the capture
yeah.
points.
Then D for deploy zones.
Oh, for some reason, what I was thinking was having like the deploy zone here, and then here, like on opposite ends of the hill.
Yeah, but right now the skirmish game mode only allows for 3 capture points at a time.
Oh, wait, is it that it allows it, or is it that's what they just went with? Because I mean, something
because
tells me they could probably have multiple
say
ones. It's
for
just a matter they
example you
just
have
haven't tried
four.
it yet.
Say for example you have 4 capture points. None of the teams would be progressing towards the bar, and it wouldn't. It would basically mean
Well,
they
there would
just
be
stay
5
entrenched.
technically.
5 would just get overwhelming though.
Yeah, what I'd like to see, and what I think could actually be really nice, is if we did where you had it here with the capture points here, but then had one point that was, say, if you were to move this one here more towards their spawn, and then this one here more towards that spawn. I know that's like terrible drawing, but
Yeah.
if you move that, say, right there, and then this one to right there, where it's really, really quick to get from the starting point to that X, then that would mean that it's really likely for them to capture it. Basically, the idea behind Hill Skirmish, and that it doesn't really work very well, is
That they're
that,
next door to each other.
yeah, is that the first points are right next to the spawn, and then you're supposed to
Oh, I was
fight over
talking
the
about the
hill.
deploy zones are right next door to each other.
Yeah, but it ends up when the deploy zones are too close to each other than it is to the objective off in the middle of nowhere. That it just promotes going from this spawned at that objective. But if you literally have to bypass this big capture point in the middle of the hill in order to get the fastest route to this first point, that's not the idea behind this. The idea behind this is that each team would first go and capture their first points, and then they would each progress up to the hill and have a nice fight among the battery guns.
Yeah.
Are we done here? Can I erase it?
Yeah.
That looks weird.
So we thought about, when we were talking about this, about the things that an artillery emplacement would really need. And the first thing was, of course, the artillery guns, and those would be the most interesting, so we put those in the middle here. The deploy zones were on either side, I think. And then we had one point there, and then no, it was not that one. We thought about doing that one, then having the other point right there in a line.
Oh, like diagonally, or?
Yes, diagonally, so that if either team came to their respective points, then it would be a lot more sensical to go straight for the hill than it would to be to go all the way around, but which would also provide some tactical gameplay. You know, try and cut them off there to create a distraction.
Okay.
But we were talking about what a artillery battalion would need. And of course, there's the AA guns, so that's in the middle. I think our second thing was a communication station. So that's what we were talking about being one of these two. Was a communication station. So, what do you say we make this one the communication station? Does that sound
I mean, like
fair
with a
enough to you?
radar, or?
Yeah, with the radar off of airfield and whatnot.
Of which one? The one that's on airfield or forward airfield? Like the really long one?
You could use both, actually.
Like
What?
I could just get the thing to actually draw. There we go. Like that one.
I mean, you could use both, honestly.
Yeah.
And then, say, if you had a couple of sheds and whatnot behind it as well. And then if you had the one that was the large crate, per se. I call it the large crate. Oh, I've messed that up entirely.
Where you're talking about the one with the tarp on it?
No, the one that has the ladder up the backside.
What, you mean the radar?
Yes.
That's that one I had in the corner.
No, that's the one on two wheels that doesn't have the one. This one only has the one radar dish. I know that's kind of bad to show.
Yeah, that's the one I meant.
But it has a ladder up the back of it, and you can climb up on the ladder. This is the one with the big crate. I call this the big crate, per se. And then
I
the
always
other
called
one,
it a trailer.
yeah, the other
Even though
one
it's like
is
a,
is the two wheels.
with the long
Yes,
one.
yes, with
Yeah.
the two long sections. But yeah, if this was,
Yeah.
I know it's a bad one, but it's on O2 in Hill Skirmish right now.
That's an awful star.
It works, it works. And what you can do is, what I'd like to be able to do is, you know, the garage building.
Which one? The one with the 4 doors, or the like that smaller single door one, or the slightly wider single door one?
The one that's again on the O2 Hill Skirmish. The one that has the big front entrance and the small back one. It's also at
Oh yeah,
C2 on
the
Mountain Town.
sort of wide single door one.
Yeah. So what I was thinking is you could park one of these trailer radars next to that, and then you could provide some verticality by people climbing up the ladder and jumping on top.
Yeah, that could work. I mean, what I'm trying to figure out now is if it's a hill. Like, I'm assuming these would be like at the foot of the hill,
Yeah,
not actually on the hill.
yeah, these are at the base of the hill.
Okay.
And then I think what we were talking about is what if this was a sawmill facility that was converted into a radar and communications outpost? So you could have the big sawmill building on the other side of the capture point, over this way or something.
Possibly.
You know, how does that sound to you? Say you had your radar right here. And then you had the big sawmill building right up here. I know that's a terrible, terrible line, but whatnot.
Wait, so this one is the radar,
Yeah,
and that one is the garage?
no, with the garage right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can jump from on top of here onto the roof of the garage. So like that, per se.
Okay.
And then you'd have this little door there that leads inside.
Then I'm assuming the hill's over here.
It doesn't matter either side, honestly.
So this could be interchanged with either side of the
Yes,
hill.
yes, it could.
This other building is
The sawmill.
which one? Oh, the sawmill. Which one? Do you mean the one that's like a barn that they call a sawmill, or do you mean the one with the actual conveyor belt inside?
Yeah, the one with the conveyor belt and the log and the little scaffolding up here.
Yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, at this point, I think I pretty much know every asset that they have in the game that's still in it, and probably some of the ones that aren't even in it.
So you you kind of getting where I'm going with all of this.
Yeah.
So that would be the sawmill building, say O2 on Forest Skirmish. And
Yeah.
then
But the more I'm looking at it, what I'm realizing, even though this is kind of unrelated, they could probably use this design to fix C3 on Mountain Town, probably.
they could. They definitely
With the garage
could.
and then the radar and the sawmill that's already there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. But before I get too derailed, but yeah.
They could. They possibly could.
Now there's probably gonna be a post that I'm gonna end up making about this. Give me about a week.
To be like a dirt road that leads out from the sawmill out that way.
Yeah.
Right here. I don't necessarily want it to be enclosed except for past the garage, because what I was thinking about is that I'd like to see another building right here. I don't know what type of building that would be. I don't want to use another, like the two-story barn with a ladder leading up in either side, because this is basically just copying what is it, O3 on Hill Skirmish
Forest
now
O2.
That too. I don't want to use that building. I was thinking of maybe like the health crate shack with the civ
Oh
truck.
wait, I know which one you're thinking of. You're thinking of Hill O3.
Yeah.
With the lumber yard.
Yeah, so I was thinking about like a health crate shack.
Or like you mean like the little shitty one that looks like just like sticks?
Yes.
Okay. Also don't know if I could cuss on this, but yep, already did.
It doesn't matter. You know, this one with the stairs that lead up.
Oh you mean the like
Yeah. That little bitty one.
yeah. I was thinking of the even smaller one.
Mm. I'm
I could
talking about
just.
the one with the barrels right there,
Well, I'm thinking of like
underneath
the.
the awning. And then you have the Civ bike here. I mean,
I
we
was thinking
could.
of that
Oh, the little
really
one
tiny
that's
one.
yeah, the like
The
the one that's in
the one
between
that offers no
A2,
cover. That
yeah,
one.
A2 and
But at least it
A3
would be
on
under
factory.
something.
Yeah, I mean we could do that as well, and have
Yeah.
like a low cobblestone wall. You know, the low cobblestone
Yeah.
that they.
But you mean like the greenish one, or do you mean the old gray one that used to be on like all the maps from the day? Like the one that used to be like in O2 Mountain Town.
Mm,
Those short ones.
yeah, the little tiny one. You know, the ones that you can jump over, but at least would make it seem different. And this could either be like the health crate shack. You know, the one that spawns the Civ bikes here, and the health crates usually inside right there. Or you could actually use the garage building, say health crate garage from A4 on town, and or not even that. That's the machine shop. The garage, say O2 Mountain Town, right here, because you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have to have some place to repair and everything, and then it could spawn, say, a Civ truck or something right here.
I mean, it could be either like the machine shop building. I don't think it's even called a machine shop. I think I've just referred to it so much as that people just started calling it that.
Yeah, and you could have a Civ
But
truck that
either
spawns
that or
here.
like the gas station, but with all the amenities actually there from
Hmm.
pre-Garmin, like with the gas tank in the back.
And then you could have the big radar here, and of
Well,
course the
I'm
radio beside it.
I think maybe just like the small one, because like I don't know, it seems weird having the big long one in such an enclosed space.
Hmm. I mean, you could place it outside as well, like right
Yeah,
outside. Say where I have this arrow here. If you got rid of this arrow,
yeah.
and you placed it, say, right over here, just right outside on the path that leads up to it, I could see that working. The story behind it would be that it was a sawmill that had been converted into a radar outpost for the battery on the hill. You think that would work?
Possibly.
Just
But what
possibly.
would be interesting for, I mean, I'm just kind of getting distracted thinking about the hill now, is if they had the trying to figure out somewhere to draw now because running out of space. But like they're used, well, not used to, it's still there. There's a version of like barricades that's just like logs, but it has like, yeah, to draw right. It has like a bunch of like sandbags like
Yes, I believe
stuck
I.
in there.
Yes, I believe I remember what you're talking about.
Like it's in the deploy zone where it serves literally no purpose. Which
Yeah,
what's funny is all like
that
all the
could.
interesting assets aren't even actually on the map. They're all in deploy zones.
Mhm.
Like yeah, it's like a weird amalgamation of logs and sandbags that could be used like on the actual hill.
Yeah, that could work as well.
Like you know the one that looks like the sandbags are just kind of thrown into like
Hmm.
the logs.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about it was either that or the little low cobblestone wall here, uh, to kind of rim out the perimeter of the capture zone.
Yeah. What I'm wondering is the part that you're drawing off the actual, does that even show on when you're streaming
Oh
this
yeah,
or
oh
no?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I use screen recorder, man. Everyone sees what I see.
Oh,
In
I thought it
game,
was
out of
you were
game,
using like some weird extension where it only shows inside the,
inside the border. Nah, we're good, man. We're good.
okay. Yeah, because like, oh man, that's a lot of cool map that no one could see outside the actual picture.
Yeah. So I've I was thinking about this, and I still can't decide. I mean, I want to make it look like there's not just this one little dinky trailer radar. That's
Yeah,
the only radar there. That's why I want to have the big one in there as well,
yeah. I mean,
and the
what
radio
could be
beside it.
done is like I know that the version of what's it called? The gas station. At least this is my suspicion is that the radar is actually a part of that model. Because there's a version on Mountain Town by O2, the gas station there, it has a radar in there, like the radio set, but it has no reason to be there. So yeah, I'm just kind of thinking maybe it's part of that actual
Well, the
asset.
thing is that that specific gas station that we call it used to be the capture point for A4 and on town, and that specific building was the only place that was inside the capture point. So you had people piling, 6 or 7, 8
Oh, I know
people
that.
inside
I
the
mean,
point.
what I'm saying is they have that model at on Mountain Town with the radar still. No, the radio's still inside of it.
Yeah,
So that version could probably be used in this version with you know the actual
yeah,
instead of
yeah.
having this garage have the gas station.
That's what I was thinking about.
So that way it would just look like there's the radio radar thing, but it would actually also have that faux radio inside.
Yeah, and that could be the radio from even which the sounds emanate. Because I really
Yeah,
want to make this look like a sawmill that's been converted into a radar outpost. Because the army moved in and set up
yeah,
an artillery battery on the hill where they have good line of sight uh, for all the nearby countryside.
yeah. My thing that I think would still be a challenge, but the only thing that would probably hold this map back is, I guess, how old their engine is. Because, like, from what I've heard from all the times I eavesdrop on stuff that the SG posts, it's like, oh man, the train can be rendered a certain way or can't be adjusted a certain way unless because their systems like archaic. So, but you know what I mean? Like have like terrain with actual sharp turns and that isn't just like a hill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I'm aware. I follow you. I see all the stuff that you post and the questions you
Yeah.
ask.
Well, I mean, I'm just referring because I think he mentioned like varying terrain in the, the new factory post where someone was talking about having like just
Marshlands.
like marsh and then having like mounds with trenches on top of the mounds. So like the reason why I'm saying that I'm sort of concerned with how the hill would work is what I noticed with the old hill and the current one is all the stuff that's on the actual hill is just trees because I'm assuming they can't place anything on the hill like I mean like on the faces of the hill because there would
Yeah.
be don't mind me I'm trying to visually show it instead of making hand gestures in a non-visual stream because that makes
Yeah,
sense.
they
So
would
they
either
can't
have
actually
to
have buildings on the side because it would actually flatten out the terrain probably,
it would either cut into the terrain or it would have to
or it would
raise an
clip through it.
embankment. So on the hill, I was thinking about actually raising an embankment and then having it lined with sandbags, with the other AA gun or
Yeah,
the artillery gun sticking out from it. And that was the one that was not on the flat part of the hill. That was going to stick out a little bit. So you have enough ideas for this one
yeah,
capture point here. Are you in agreement of what we're trying to, or what at least our idea is to try and do here?
yeah. I think it's just more of a matter of actually drawing it and or modeling it, either or.
Yeah. So we have the deploy zones here. Why do I keep drawing those there? Those need to be in the middle.
Yeah.
The
You
deploy
want me,
zones
want me to
there.
just draw it?
Yeah, there's that one there. There's this one, which is sawmill. We'll just put an
That
S
one in
for
the middle.
sawmill. one in the middle, which we'll put H for hill. And now there was this other one as well. And this other one that we were thinking about making, whenever we were thinking about this, it was, what are we going to need for this battery? And we already have communications. We already have the guns. So now we need a place for the soldiers to stay. So, if I remember right, when we were first talking about this, we were thinking about this one right about here being some sort of chateau slash barracks, or
Oh wait, I think I remember. I
yeah.
think you were saying, wait, how do you clear the thing? Like clear everything. I got an idea.
All right.
Is it clearing?
Yep.
The the old, I think it was B1 for Mountain Town, with like the trying to do this all in one draw so you don't click it every time. You kind of get what I'm getting at with this, or where it had like, I don't remember if this is exactly where the wall was on it, but you get what I'm trying to convey here, or
Kind
no?
of, but B1 on Old Mountain Town had only
I
one building.
like, I'm thinking of either that one or it might be one possibly from the old one. I know it had two buildings, and it had some weird, like, like almost 90-degree thing where it almost becomes like a weird corner
That
thing.
was E1. That was two chateaus, like the police
Yeah.
station buildings.
Yeah, but slightly different models inside.
Yes, yes.
Because I know that the inside of one of them had, like, there was the center, but there wasn't any rooms. It was just two stairways going up, which for some reason, now that I think about it, that version's never come back, with the two stairs going up on either side, and then the door both sides. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that version ever came back. Well, alright, I guess RIP that version of the building, I guess.
Rip.
But yeah, it would be interesting seeing, like, they think that we wouldn't notice some of the stuff that disappeared. That's kind of one of those that just kind of almost slipped through the cracks, I guess. Because
Almost slipped through the cracks. Do you need this
yeah,
anymore, or can I get rid of
yeah.
it?
But having maybe something like that as, I guess, I don't know. I think one of the things I keep getting at with designing like new maps is if they incorporated stuff from the maps that were scrapped, and then trying to figure out how to, I guess, soft introduce them back into the, the palette of assets that can be used with new maps.
And speaking of that, you know how you were talking about the trench system that was leading up the hill? Do you remember the old removed skirmish map that they used to have?
Oh, you
Way
mean
back in the day.
the encounter one that I never played but I knew existed?
Yeah, the one that they had
Trenches on it.
way back in the day. They had that sunken tent, and they also had trenches that went up hills. It was a skirmish.
Oh yeah, I remember. There's like something. Bear with me. I'm trying to do this from memory because I know there was like a radio antenna. Bit. I've never played it. I know it existed.
I've only seen footage. That was before even my time, and I've been here for a while.
Oh wait. Do you mean the one with like that bunker thing with logs and shit?
I meant the one where you start off at the base of a hill, and then there was a trench that led up to the hill on this side, and a road that led up to the hill on this side. And up top was just an absolute hot mess of trenches. And then you had the road that led down to the other side, and the tanks would duel on top of that road. It got removed because they had trouble balancing it. Because basically what would happen is whoever won the tanks would then go and sit right here at the top of the hill on top of that road that leads down your spawn. You didn't have any cover besides to go up the trenches, and skilled tankers would just pop you out of the trenches over here with HE. It got removed because they couldn't find a way to balance it. So I know that they can make trenches that went up hills, because that was a relatively steep hill.
Give me a moment. I think I have images. I have because you know what? Why wouldn't I have images? I'm a map guy. I found that that sandbag thing I was talking about.
Brandon, you still with us or are you asleep?
Nah, I'm still here.
All right. What do you think
Come on,
of what we're talking
come
about?
on. There we go. This is the
It's
one I was
pretty
talking
nice,
about.
yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well.
Like having that
As the
somewhere,
interior wall, yeah.
like have that like either at the top of it or at the bottom of it somewhere. And then let me see if I just coincidentally have an image of that bunker thing. Why wouldn't I? Give me a moment while I find it. Um, Feel free to talk to fill in the dead air while I find this, because I know I have it. I'm on the cusp of finding
I mean,
it.
well, as for the station, we were thinking about, if I remember right, what was it? The Quonset huts. That's what they're called. The Quonset huts from Airfield. Uh,
And for those who don't know terminology, that's the weird rounded ones, the rounded
yes.
barracks.
Be placed in a line. Uh,
Oh yeah, you mean
inside,
kind of like on airfield, I guess.
yes, inside of a retaining wall, where you can still get past here. I don't know why I put that little line there, but up here would be one of the big chateau buildings because they
Yeah,
basically said, "All right, we're gonna need to use your yard. We're gonna quarter some soldiers here."
but now I'm thinking about it. I think maybe just like the regular tent would be fine for it, but use both variants of it. Not like the one with the little shelves in it. I mean, use the version with the radio in it and the version with the shelves
Yeah,
inside.
but we could also have those along this side right here,
Because
and that's what
also
it
I
would
did
be.
find the image that we were talking about with the old version of the. Gonna put it on the screen now. The old version of Hill.
Yeah, the old tent. That
Yep, there it
tent.
is.
That's the one I'm talking about.
This is the one that didn't fail me as a son. This one, the good one,
Except,
and
like
also
right
that
here would
rock though.
be AA guns and AA guns,
Yeah,
or just the artillery guns and whatnot.
yeah. Like what they could do is they could keep this map. I mean, like the old one. I mean, and they could. Wait, let me just find the scribble button again. There it is. Have just like, wait, am I doing it? There we go.
Yeah,
Have just use the old design and add either artillery guns or to, I guess, save on resources, use the either just have them as AA guns and and that way you could have two birds with one stone instead of having like a flak tower. At least have a flak hill, I
yeah.
guess,
We were also talking about
than
like
having.
the trenches around
Yeah,
it and
I
whatnot.
got this. I got perspective. I got this. I'm on a roll. Barrel roll. There we go.
Ooh, yeah, that looks nice. But
How do I
we're
change the color of the? Can I change the color of the? Oh, there we
if you
go.
see, yeah,
Found it. So let's show on here if I change the. Yep, there it is. Yeah.
but we're also talking
I don't
about
know
having
how it would look on the
if this
video, but
it
yeah.
looks nice. It looks nice. If this thing was enclosed,
Yeah. You mean like with that dug into it, or?
yes. If that was enclosed, we could also have the artillery guns right there.
Yeah. When they do have them.
Yeah. And then this would just be the outside trench system, and then say have like a med kit right there, or have the ammo box here or something like that, or even the ammo
Yeah.
box like right there. But I could see that working out quite well.
Or now I'm thinking about it, what they could do, that radio, put the put that big radio thing up on the hill. I mean, it makes more sense, but not for whoever's gonna bring it up there.
Yeah.
But strategically, it would make sense having the
That
radar on the hill,
that
like
could
a
work as
listening
well.
post.
Yes. Yes.
But I know what also would have been good for it if they ever bothered to put it into the
Words, Edward. Don't fail me
this.
now. Ah,
Never forget.
never forget.
That would have been perfect for the hill with those artillery emplacements.
Hmm.
But we don't have that. R.I.P.
I mean, I'm
And
sure they still have the models. They can place them in as still
oh yeah,
models.
but also going back to that trench map that you're talking about, are you referring to this version of the get to load?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
That's the exact map that I'm thinking of as well.
yeah. I have
But
that
that
screenshot
could
just
be
because I
instead of
actually
the
called him out saying, "When is this coming back?"
yeah, that could be the little thing instead of per se the tent in the middle. Or it could be I'm not entirely sure, but I know that because of that map that they can make trenches that lead uphill.
Yeah. Unless the thing is that was probably with older engine, and I guess it for some reason they keep adding stuff on top of like older problems instead of fixing it, so that way it's just buried under all the other nonsense
Yeah,
that
that's true.
that that needs to be fixed.
That's very true.
Like, you know how they keep saying, "Oh, that's an older build of the game, so we can't insert reason here," and then they say that, "Oh, because that's the old one, we would have to update everything else because they just didn't bother to update the old one and fixing it."
Yeah, I'm
Basically,
sure.
it all comes down to sweeping too much stuff under the rug. So now that you have to actually clean under the rug.
Yes.
So that's basically the most blunt way of putting it. I mean, I do give Rito credit. They're definitely trying, and in the most recent updates, it's definitely showing. Like the APC for Germany finally has that camo and that image I keep using with the that mountain town image.
Hmm.
So they finally have that. So I mean, maybe it'll come at some point, but who knows when, basically.
All right, you want to like backspace through all of this?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yep, there it goes.
The
Yep,
fuck?
All right, so
we're
we
just
were
going back in time.
yeah, we were thinking perhaps that tent that you showed up there could go right here.
What, you mean the hill tent
Yeah, the hill tent could go right
or the
there.
bunker thing?
The hill tent could go right here.
All right, let me just try to figure out how to. I thought I could just like copy paste the thing. I actually have to go into like the settings to do it. There we go. Like, put that where?
Size it down, put it where the arrow's pointing.
I could just not cooperating. There it goes.
Yeah, if you were to put
And
that, say, right there, and then have the Quonset huts from Airfield right here, and then have, say, like the big chateau building or something like that. You want to make it look like this entire thing has been. You could have like a broken wall there or something.
where? Oh yeah. I mean,
Uh,
I feel like the quants that thing, the quinoa huts.
the Quonset
I
huts.
feel that I feel like those. I don't know. I'm probably like one of the few people that aren't that crazy about that asset. That asset.
That acid though.
Yeah. Like the one I'm more interested in is, if I could get it to load, the officer quarters one.
Yeah, I was thinking about the officer
Because
quarters, and
I
you
feel
could
like
use
that
that.
one's extremely underutilized in
Yeah,
terms of
you could
like
use
an
that
asset.
instead of.
Every time it's used, it's outside of a playable area. Like on airfield, they use it in the deploy zones and away, like tucked away, like maybe a few yards away from O2.
Yeah, if you look where my big fat arrow is, that could
Okay.
be where this is instead of the chateau building. You could just
Yeah.
have your officer
No, what I'm saying
barracks.
is that using the that red one instead of the Quinset thing.
Quonset huts.
Quonset that.
Well, the thing is it also depends upon the CQC fighting. Those officer
Yeah.
barracks are amazing to fight inside of, if you can
Yeah.
ever get inside and actually shoot at
Because
people.
even though this is like in concept form, what I'm trying to think is how it, because how Burrito is, oh, it has to fit with a theme, but not. I feel like I kind of have a better idea with themes wise, but I feel like the Quinset huts don't actually fit the visual style of the map.
That is true,
But then
because
again, we
Quonset
haven't
huts were
really
most
built
of the
upon
time.
how the rest of it looks yet. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Quonset huts are mostly used on airfields and whatnot, if I remember right.
yeah.
So
Like
I
the
could see
only
that.
way I think it would probably work, but it would probably be exaggerated with World War II style, would be if it was on the old version, right down to the old trees, because those kind of look dead. So I mean, talking in the terms of like as World War II looking, almost World War One looking as you could get possibly of a map. But yeah, but you get what I mean, right?
Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was thinking, yeah, I think, so we have our three things that we need. We have the battery itself, we have a place to communicate with places that need shells, and then we
Okay.
have a place for the soldiers to stay. So, unless you have anything else to add, I'll go ahead and erase all of this.
Yep. Gone thought.
So, now it comes down to a question of, say, terrain. If that's the hill, and this is the base of the hill, that's a deploy zone, this is a deploy zone, that's the communications post, the sawmill, and then this is the barracks. Where's the rest of it? What are we looking like here?
Oh my god, I have an amazing idea.
Alright, go
What
ahead.
if they incorporated that, and also this kind of like segues into the previous stuff that we talked about, but what if they, how
That's
can I
it.
get
That's the
this?
start of the map that I was
Yeah,
talking about
have
earlier.
this, if I could get it to get bigger, get the idea. Have this, I do a copy paste job, there we go. On either side, like that style of road with trench on both sides of the.
Hmm.
Can I do a mirror thing with this? Can I mirror images? Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
Wait. I think I might have found it. There we go. Have these on either sides of the hill going to the,
The battery.
no, going just like encircling the, like connecting
Ah.
the points.
And then in the middle
I
where
mean, they
they
could have
meet.
that radio tower there. It might look aesthetically pleasing, maybe. Like a giant merry-go-round of death.
I don't know. I don't want that trench to be overused.
Well, I mean, it's not really overused if it's for a fortification.
You also have to remember that this is ideally a skirmish map, so there will be tanks. So what I'd like
Yeah.
to do is I'd actually like to put lines coming from equidistance between the two deploy zones that had these trenches leading up next to them and stopping a good distance from the top of the hill. Because this means that tanks wouldn't just be able to sit at the deploy zone and then just have a cone of fire onto the entire side of the hill, or to go anywhere else, and just everything would get mercilessly shelled. This would allow some protection against the tanks, and of course there'd have to be, rocks and trees and whatnot.
Yeah. But the
leading
thing
up to
is,
the hill.
to what extent would the trees be? Because from what they keep telling me is, oh, they being the devs, like, oh, we can't put just trees anywhere. We can't have one tree here. It has to be just type in the thing, and then it just sort of you know puts them all over the area based on the coordinates, and it randomly generates them. I mean, hopefully at some point they actually get to you know fixing it so you could have one tree here, one tree there type of thing.
That
But
would that definitely that's interesting. I didn't know that it worked like that. I knew
yeah,
that that was how they did like terrain coloring and how they decided upon what was counted as steep enough to get a rock
oh
texture and
yeah,
what wasn't steep enough to get a ground texture. But I
yeah.
wasn't yeah, I wasn't
That,
certain
that
about the trees.
that's the issue with that kind of happens with the maps is like how outside the maps it's just like weird colors and stuff because there's no props on it
Hmm.
because there anything outside the map you can't actually place props there, but if there was stuff there that's probably where they would be, like the large leafy areas that don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
any trees on them because they're outside the map. It doesn't generate the trees, but like basically I feel like all of the different terrain are sort of what's the word um they're like bound to those specific areas. Like trees have to have like a certain terrain underneath them, type of thing. Almost like a sim game, like an old school Sim City game.
Yes, yes, I get what you're saying.
But I think I have an example of like I know I have the image. There's an image that I took of how the terrain works with the road and how it shows basically what I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. Basically, it would show that it has a road, but it's on a hill, but it's at such a weird placement that it looks weird. If that makes sense. Like the road is it it kind of warped how a hill looked, and then it just made the area next to it flat, like a sharp turn.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh, it found it. Here we go. I got the image. It shows exactly what I was saying about how the train works. Now if we could just get here in the thingy. There we go.
Yes, I've seen that before.
Yeah, that kind of gives an idea like how it the engine actually generates stuff like this type of
Yeah,
stuff over here.
so their terrain tool is not necessarily you have different pins that you can move up and down, and then the other terrain will automatically flow to meet it, and you can get really steep edges and really shallow edges. Whenever you don't just paint on textures and whatnot.
Yeah, which I wish it was, and I've
Oh
been
yeah, that
stressing
would
with
make
them that
their
they need
job
to do
so
that.
much easier. They could crank out so many maps.
They could do the I don't even know how to pronounce it. Bocage, Bokage. How do you even pronounce it?
I think it's Bokage.
Yeah, that Bokage. They like if you know what would have been even better if you didn't want that the um the roads to get too excessive with the trench next to them. They could do. This is an image that I made myself, so but it was using the Alamo engine because I do stuff with Empire at War. But I use this in the Rito Regiment page to show how the bokage should be in comparison to how
Hedgegroves.
it is in the game.
Hedgegroves.
Yeah,
That's
but they
exactly.
should have like these on like surrounding the maybe maybe surrounding the hill
Mhm.
possibly.
And
So
actually,
that
what I
way,
was thinking about, what I wanted to talk to you about, was if we ever do another one of these, I wanted to do like a Bokage encounter where it was
oh, I
just
did
that.
that already. Have you
Yeah,
seen mine or?
I have, I have. I wanted to talk to you about it. Ask questions.
Okay, I could if you want. I could. No, we'll save that. This is the
Yeah,
pilot. I'll save that for episode 1, the real episode 1. This is the pilot. We'll
we're just
wear
talking
different
about map
clothes, even though
concepts
no
here.
one's gonna see it,
Hmm.
because it's no longer the pilot. But
But
yeah,
what I was thinking about is in between the deploy zones and the points, there would be something like light woods on either side of a main road that leads into the point. So light woods all through here. But then there would be heavy woods in between the deploy point, the deploy zone, and then the far objective. You
yeah.
know, I mean
I
like
I
thick
think
trees. Think the
one thing I'm
forest in
noticing now
between.
is um I'm sure because this is just like a what's the word? Because we're just doing drafting. These aren't gonna wait. These aren't gonna be as close as they appear here, right?
I mean, I'd like them to be closer. What I want them to be is I want them to be the easy target for the teams. You know, as soon as you spawn, oh, this thing's only a couple hundred meters away. Meanwhile, this thing's 400 meters away.
So
Let's just go
almost
here to this.
like totally not a village skirmish with the two
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah, except if you stretched it out, and then that's how it should be.
And mirrored it,
Yes.
but with different stuff inside of them,
Yes.
and then have the equivalent to the forest outpost on
Yeah,
top
the
of the hill.
forest thing in the middle. But this thing's on top of a hill and it has trenches, and it's
Yeah,
supposed to promote tactically working your way up using the different bits of cover throughout the hill and whatnot to move your way up into the middle, so you can actually have some decent fighting.
yeah.
And if you have
But
tanks,
how'd
you
you
can
do
move
that
up
arrow
tank.
thing?
That's
Oh.
easy. There's an arrow option right
Oh,
under the line
I've
option.
just been drawing arrows.
Yeah, the select line, you can put an arrow or a connector or a curve.
I don't have time for that. I'm just gonna draw arrows.
Fair enough.
Yeah, if this is a video, no one's gonna want to wait for me to select arrow. Think this is school?
Well, then I'll do your stupid arrows.
So basically, how the flow would work is it would
Yeah, how the flow would
go
work is they would go from here
go up.
to the objective
See how much quicker this is?
to the fight here.
Yeah.
They would start off at their objective, and they'd go from their spawn to the first, to the hill battle. So basically what this does is this guarantees that the hill will remain contested at all times. Or at least promote the hill to be contested at all times.
Yeah.
So once you have the hill, now you have to move out into defensive position and watch for enemies coming from all other sides, which also presents an opportunity to not only move forward and capture this closest enemy point here, but also for the enemy team to flank wide and go for your back point. And then while you're distracted and move back, send a force straight up the middle to go and retake the hill. Now the defenders have all pulled back. It makes things quite tactical.
Yeah. But that would be on both sides, right?
Yes, that would be on both sides. I don't, like I said, I also want really thick forest right in here to just kind of hide the motions and whatnot from any tanks or any infantry or recons watching up top for the side flank. You see where I'm getting at? The flow would be constant motion. You know, you're going to have people. Smart teams would immediately send people up to the hill as soon as they spawn, instead of going for the other point.
Yeah, I'm that one lazy player that just goes for the short one because it's easy XP, and I get killed after that. But yeah, that's just me.
And ideally, this would be infantry on jeeps and motorcycles that would meet right at the top of the hill, right on either side of the battery, and then you'd hop into the trenches and start clearing them out of each other.
Yeah. Because one thing I think that would have to be taken into consideration is how steep is this hill? Like, is it just like a hill skirmish type of steep, or plenty of room on the top of it?
There should be probably about 100 meters of decently flat space on top.
Yeah. So pretty much like the hill skirmish sort of.
Mm-hmm.
sort of, with
and
like the
then
logs and stuff all over around it.
yeah, and then 200 meters of oh, that's terrible too. 200 meters on either side of kind of steep hill. You know, enough that it slows down your vehicles.
Yeah. Well, then again, there's also the train stuff that whenever they do add it, which is another thing I've been thinking about. It's like how would that be incorporated into the maps? But that's a thought for another day, I guess.
Well, I'd like to have everything connected by roads. I mean, the
Yeah.
deploy system on either side should probably be some type of military checkpoint or whatnot. So I'd like for there to be, say, a snaky road that leads around the entirety of the map and would have, you know, its cutoffs and whatnot. And then about halfway through the woods, and then there could either be a smaller checkpoint with like a health crate shack and anything else. Health crates on either side.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, like one on either side of the hill or whatnot.
Yeah. As long as it's not just the shack. 'Cause God, am I tired of looking at those shacks? You know which one I'm talking about, the shed.
Yeah, the health crate shack.
Yeah, we were too lazy to come up with a new idea for a building, so here's this shed from like a paintball place that we found, and just called it a World War II map. Like the way they have those sheds all over maps, it makes it look less World War II and more like a staged reenactment.
That is true.
Because it's like, oh, you could go here and get your Dasani water while your comrades are out shooting blanks. It's like just get rid of it. Just the sheds. Do we need them? Just get rid of them. Have it sorted. Yeah,
I'd
have
like to see.
like buildings, or you know what would work for where the I'm doing hand gestures again. I'm realizing I'm you can't see them. Like where the health crates would be. Instead, have like ruins. Like you know,
Yeah,
like how
that
they
that would
had
be nice. The ruins, uh, that are at say, what is that, B2 now?
Old Village
No,
O2, just
B3.
to age how long
Yeah,
we've been with the game.
yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
old ruins, and then have the health crates inside of them.
yeah.
That could
One of
work.
something that actually blew my mind, the second ruin. Like you know how there's like the tall one that's actually the capture point, and then there's like the smaller ones next to it. Those aren't actually different ruins. It's actually the same model, but lowered into the ground vertically.
Hmm.
For some reason that just kind of blew my mind. It's like it worked in such a way that it would make you think that they're actually, you know, a different
Different,
asset.
yeah.
But that's something that they should try to bring back because I'm probably gonna end up making a post about that because now I'm realizing they should do that more. But yeah, use those ruins and use them in varying ways in order to actually, fill up the map with stuff. Like use those ruins, or you know what? This is more wishful thinking, but at some point they need to bring back some of the older ones from like before I was playing the game. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Hmm.
On like the town ruins
Yes.
that are by O1 that are like only like in some videos now, but like the really old ones, like the 2012 one.
Yeah, yeah. That was even before I started, because I started
Yeah,
in
but that was an
early
interesting looking
2013.
ruin though, instead of just a fence like there is now. At some point I'll get a screenshot, not right now,
So
but yeah,
I'll get it, but I'd like to see this road system come in. It'd come in from the northwest, connect to the sawmill, then go down, and have like an actual paved road go through just past the chateau and out this way. Then have a dirt road come off of it up to the battery.
yeah,
I think that would be really aesthetically nice.
yeah. And then you also have to consider how it would affect the terrain though. So this would have to be a really big hill if it's gonna
Yes,
have
of
like roads
course.
going
The
up it.
hill's supposed to dominate the map.
Yeah. Well, I mean in the sense of because remember I showed that image with
Hmm.
how the roads affect the terrain. Like I think once the road is placed, they would have to like actually, make a new like they would have to delete the road, put the train, and then put the road again. Otherwise, wait, you know what? I'll just
You
draw it.
might have some edging.
Yeah, like say they put a road here. If they raise the train on either side, it would just end up getting stuck on one side and on the other side, rather than actually, you know,
Raising the road, yes.
yeah, like almost like in how the roads work in like some of the older sim games, like city building games, where you try to adjust the train, but it only adjusts everything around the object that's on
Hmm.
the train. But something tells me that's probably how their level editing software works. Like I feel like the less answers they give about how their level design software works, the more I try to dissect it to find the answer. Eventually, it's just gonna get to the point where I just know how it works. Like, and then they'll wonder why I know how it works. But yeah, it would be interesting to see the roads on it, and if they could somehow figure out how to make that, you know, that thing that I showed before with that, if they're able to figure out how to make that work in the favor of the map, they could make it look a bit more rugged than it actually is.
Yes, they could.
Like raise the train in certain spots and then make it look, I don't know, craggy, I guess, or
Yeah,
almost like people try to
because
dig into it too much.
the big forest around here, around the base of the hill, I want the top of the hill to be above the forests.
Like
To
almost
simulate.
Ardenes looking.
Yes, to simulate why you would put a battery on top of this hill in the middle of nowhere, because it sticks out above the tree level for the rest of the surrounding countryside. You have great lines of sight. You can put fire wherever it's needed. I want there to be a reason why this hill is the reason that they chose to put the battery here.
Yeah,
Like, it's something that they didn't do with Hill Skirmish. Like the old Hill Skirmish, you had line of sight. You could look over the top of O1 and O3. New Hill Skirmish, there's trees up there, and it's not even the
yeah.
crest of the hill.
It just seems more like they built a base there because they wanted to kick someone out of their house.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the beta version, it would have worked had they actually kept going through with making new assets. Because the way they have it set up looks like they were intending on at some point putting artillery guns, but it fell through because they were thinking about too many other things to add to the game.
Yeah. That's why we came up with the concept of this map, because we wanted
Yeah,
to see what Hill Skirmish could have been.
yeah. Or even like what that older version would have been. That one screenshot that was like
Hmm.
from like not even alpha version of town.
Yeah, the first video log ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like it wasn't even a video. It was like from like I think Red Bjarn's like ModDB page, circa I don't know 2011.
Huh.
Like I have the image somewhere. I'll find it, but not right now. But I'll have to dig around for it.
All right, so I think I think that our job here is done. I'm sure you've got a lot of ideas, Edward, and I'll put this up there so if you ever want to see kind of what we came up with, you can go back and watch
Yeah.
it at your leisure. But next time, what was it say that we were going to talk about? Oh yeah, the kind of the Normandy encounter. I was going to ask you a couple questions about that and ask you to go over
Yeah.
it.
But I'll say that for the other one because I have a feeling we'll end up being here a whole hour if I end up start talking about why there. I have questions about how it could work. Because yep, I'm just gonna hold off because I'm gonna end up going onto a tangent.
All right, well, thanks for coming out here, Edward, and you too, Brandon, and drawing with me
Thank you.
today. This is SGF0212 signing off.